Okay, I am going to do this video one time to set the record straight about what's been going on. I'm not going to get involved in the fitness online drama that is out there, but people who are followers and friends and sponsors and people who actually care deserve to hear the truth about what is actually going on. Because what's happening is for 20 months straight, we've been getting attacked almost daily, 2-3 times a week at very least, by Connor Bollinger, who first did it under his name and then under Side Stitch Media and now On Your Left. And it has been absolutely merciless spreading of lies and hate and anger towards us. And I'm not going to go down the path of, well, you said this, now you said this, and I'm going to do a response, and you did a response, so I'm going to do a response, and now it's a response. I'm going to do this one time so that people know what is actually going on, because you deserve to know what's actually going on, and you're not sitting there thinking, well, is Taryn just playing this nice guy on YouTube and on Instagram, but meanwhile, he's just a piece of trash behind everyone's backs that's looking to bring people down. I'm also going to say before I get into this that if you are one of those people that cares and this does make you mad, don't go and attack them and this group and him and his page. Don't do that. Because to be perfectly honest with you, that has been what's been happening for the last few days with me, that the amount of lies that he's spread about me has been so unreal that lately I get a daily, maybe twice daily messages of people absolutely calling me pieces of very bad names, saying that I am ruining the industry, that I am not in support of the industry, and it's all just completely based on lies. And what I want to support with this channel and with triathlon is that triathlon is a great thing that makes us better people, that changes our lives in such a good way. And getting sucked into negativity is completely against what I want. I want us to try to bring each other up, not to try to pull each other down. Now, Connor's claiming that what he's doing is he's really just keeping me accountable, that somebody has to keep Taryn accountable, and that he's doing this to do good in the world, and that he's keeping me accountable, and that he's criticizing where he feels he needs to criticize, that he's doing a good thing here. That isn't it. He is completely doing this for attention. My first interaction with Connor was about 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more. And at the time, he actually named me as one of the best follows online. It was complimentary. He said that he loved our work and that he liked what we do. And he was trying to make a name for himself online. Well, several months later, he starts berating me day after day after day when I started squeezing out a sweat rag, and then other followers started squeezing out a sweat rag after a workout, and I would repost it, and he started demanding, you have to credit my friend. You have to credit my friend who did that. I'm like, buddy, I don't even know your friend. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why do I have to credit him? The first person that wrung out a sweaty t-shirt doesn't own the rights to everyone thereafter who wrings out a sweaty t-shirt. That's not how it works. And if you just look at the last 20 months of what happened, well, let's look at it. It's been 20 months straight of him cyberbullying me, of making fun of my weight, of posting my wife's personal information online, of spreading lies about me, going so far as to leave fake 1-star reviews on our books on Amazon, and in public forums claim that I plagiarize books. That's a legal claim. You better back that up with some facts. And I'll tell you what happened there. I referred to the Tarahumara who were in the book called Born to Run in my book. And in the line that this guy, Connor, read, I didn't credit it back to the book Born to Run. But that's not how it works. The first person who writes a book about World War II does not then own the rights to every single book thereafter about World War II. It's a historical event. And you know what? Had you read later into the book, you would know that I actually credited Chris McDougall in my references for people who have written books that I really admire. I didn't cut him out. I didn't plagiarize anything. I referred to a similar historical event because I have respect for that historical event. That's not plagiarism. But this is how far he's gone to spread legal defamation and lies about me online. Now, I've listened to a couple of podcasts that he's done, and what he learned in that time is in line with what he learned as a kid, that if you act out, you get attention. This guy has a criminal record for dealing drugs and assaulting people. Like, he acts out, and this is what he does. And he learned that if you act out, you can get quicker attention, because it's really, really hard, take it from me, to build up your own thoughts and your own following with spreading goodness. But it's really easy to say, hey, Taryn's got 400,000 followers, and there's probably a good 1% of them that are just hate following him. And Nick Bear has 600,000 followers or 1 million followers, and let's take down Nick Bear and appeal to the people that don't like him, and Talbot and John Joseph, and on and on. And this is what he's done over and over with people that have big follower bases. He goes and starts attacking them because it's easier to get drama attention than it is to get positive attention. It's a long haul to get positive attention. And you might say, well, you know what, maybe Taryn, he's just keeping you accountable, and he learned what you're really like in that time, and originally he didn't really know you. Well, I'll explain why that isn't the case. There have been things that have happened in the triathlon world that he came out originally and had a take on it and said things and had an opinion, and coincidentally, I did something and had a similar opinion. And I actually witnessed him take down his original opinion, change his opinion completely because ours were actually kind of similar, and then start ripping my opinion apart. Because it's easier to go and say, oh, Taryn's opinion is stupid. Everyone, look at how stupid Taryn is, than to grow an audience and a following based off of your opinion. He's willing to compromise his own integrity and his own opinion so that he can slander me and bash me online. That's dishonesty. That is changing what you believe and what you say so that you can get attention by tearing somebody else down. Now, what's happened this time that is causing me to actually do this video is that there was a time that he did a post that was so very personal and attacking and just awful. And somebody told me about it, and I saw it, and I look, and right next to it, the very post after, before, or whatever it was a sponsored post from a goggle company that I used to work with. And the goggle company has asked that I not use their name because they don't want to get involved in this, and total respect for that. But I told the goggle company that because they're appearing one right after the other, I let the CEO know, as just a friend, I said, look, I don't want people seeing, oh, hey, goggle company sponsors On Your Left, and oh, On Your Left absolutely hates Taryn, but let's look up these goggles and go goggle company review. Well, what was the first review that popped up? It was my review. So I didn't want the appearance of us being in cahoots and having similar sponsors and, oh, maybe it's just a joke, because I don't want to be involved in this in any way and give any indication that I support this. And that is how it appeared, because Connor himself actually believed that I was sponsored by this company just like he was sponsored by this company. So that's the image that it was portraying. And I was just doing this to protect my reputation. They're my videos. I am entitled to take them down if I see that having a video up in this cancel culture can be negative for my company. And you know what? Being associated with something that is based off of hate and negativity and making fun of people in today's day and age is a risky thing to be associated with. So I emailed this CEO as a friend and I said, look, I'm going to be taking down my video, and I respect that we don't have any sort of sponsor relationship. And if you want to sponsor them, by all means, that's something that if it's working for you, continue on with it. And I don't expect anything besides just wanting to let you know that I'm taking my video down. Now, the CEO of this goggle company actually said at the time, well, I'm sure it's just a joke, and let me actually look into this, not realizing what Connor has been doing to me for 20 months. He looked at the post and looked at what he had posted about me and went, oh my God, this is incredibly personal. This is an attack. I don't want to be associated with this. And that they wanted to end their public sponsorship of On Your Left. On his own, At no point did I tell them to take down that post. It's not that I bullied the company into taking down the sponsorship and blackmailed them into do it. No, they decided that they didn't want to be associated with that. And to top it all off, I actually spoke to the CEO of this goggle company yesterday and said like, hey, this is what this guy's saying, that I bullied you into doing what you did, choosing not to work with him. And he went, No, I told him that we weren't going to do it because you were personally attacking. So even the goggle company says that what he's saying isn't what actually happened. The second claim is that after I talked to that CEO, I talked to all kinds of companies trying to tear them down. Well, there was one phone call that I made after that to a friend who owns a company in Boulder, because what's been happening over the last several years is there are people that I have thought were friends in Boulder that I went for dinner with, that I had wine with, and commiserated over struggles that they were having with their training or their coach, people that I had on our podcast and wanted to help them grow a following, people who I actually supplied content to, and they used that content as their profile picture, and people that I thought were friends who are now going and taking part in this On Your Left and all the Connor bashing over and over and over, liking the posts that are ripping me apart, people that I thought were friends. And I'm going to be honest, after 20 months of this, like, it just feels like I don't know who I can trust. I feel alone. I feel beat up, and like everyone who I thought was a friend that I could possibly count on is behind my back, turning on me. So I called this friend in Boulder just to say, like, what is going on in Boulder? Like, does Boulder all of a sudden hate me? Like, I thought I was friends with these people. And he said, well, what's going on? And looked at the post and he went, oh my God, this is terrible. And knowing one of the athletes that I felt like I've been backstabbed by, and him having some business with them, he said, look, what's going on there is personal. It's an attack. And I don't want to be associated with it, just like the goggle company didn't want to be associated with it, and said, just so you know, as long as you are involved with that, we're not going to be involved with you. I didn't reach out to them and say, this has to stop and demand anything. I reached out to a friend to maybe get some support, because I'm sorry, like, I'm going to be honest, this is hard. And I needed to talk to a friend, and a friend that might know what was going on. And I didn't demand a single thing, but Connor is twisting it into me going around the entire industry trying to rip him down, and that's not what's happening. What he's trying to do is he's trying to frame this as Taryn's the big bad guy that has connections in the industry, and he knows this person who knows this person, and he's trying to take us down, and we're just a small company that we're trying to get an upstart, and he's the big bad Taryn. That's not what this is at all. We're a small company. The company consists of employees, me, and my wife. He wants to put up this image of like, well, he's this little guy that he needs to get legal advice to defend himself from big bad Taryn. Well, let's look at the history here of what's gone on. In the past 2 years, he has outright committed libel and defamation, making legal claims of plagiarism publicly that are completely incorrect. He's gone and committed copyright infringement, going so far as to create a business logo out of my content, I don't know, to taunt me? Like outright blatant copyright infringement. Now, who has, over the past 20 months, spent an entire hobby's worth of time berating the other person and putting them down and slandering their name and trying to ruin their reputation? It hasn't been me. It's been you. And I've actually had my lawyers look at the issues of defamation and copyright infringement. And Connor has gone and just magically taken all those things down, and he'll often post things. And then after the hub about it ends up dying down, he'll take it down thinking that this is going to maybe get him out of trouble. I don't know if that's what he's doing, but we have an entire file folder that my legal team has looked at and said, like, this is about as blatant a case of copyright infringement and defamation as could possibly be, because these are just really very clearly factually incorrect statements. So to put on this front of he's the little guy and he needs to defend himself because I'm the big bad Taryn that's trying to squash the little brand, trying to get up. Who's been trying to squash who for the last 2 years? Who has actually backed off of who for the last 2 years. They also want to complain about how I deal with sponsorships. Well, he takes sponsorships. His buddies take sponsorships for things as unrelated to triathlon as liquid Band-Aids. And in both cases, I'm in support of that. If you need to make a living and you really believe in the liquid Band-Aids or you believe in whatever you are getting out there to your followers, by all means, go for it. But what they want to say is that I'm a sellout or that I'm giving people bad advice for what to buy. But here's the thing, they take sponsors and they actually showed their hand at some point in the last year or so where one of the people from this group actually wrote an article about how it was so egregious that my wife and I had Challenge Daytona puffer jackets that they gave us because they were a pro and they need jackets, and because they're a pro, they deserve those jackets more than we do. This is ridiculous. This is as blatant as when you're 6 years old and Billy down the street has a toy and you don't like Billy because Billy has that toy. And how I deal with sponsors, you all deserve to know how it works, is that there are a lot of coupon codes that I've shared in videos. In most cases, a lot of those coupon codes are intended to be affiliate linked. And in a lot of cases, what I say to the sponsors is, you know what, just pass all of the affiliate revenue that you would otherwise give to me to a bigger coupon code for the user. Because I'll make money off of people buying our books and using our app and buying our products and watching our videos and sharing good information. I don't need to make $1 here and $1 here all the time. Now, the next thing that everyone is angry about is that I won't get on and debate him, and I won't fight him, and I won't get in and defend myself to him. Well, he wants to be angry at me for the training methods that I recommend for new beginner triathletes that need help with the very, very basics. Connor wants to trash the training methods that I support here and that I share with you, and he calls them communist and conspiratorial. Well, first off, that's not what those words mean, pal. And claims that I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, let's look at what's not enough for you here, Connor. Is it not enough that my times aren't enough? Well, I've looked at your times. We're pretty similar, and I'm doing mine when I'm 10 years older than you and probably 15 pounds more. Or is it that I'm not credentialed enough? Well, both of us have online triathlon coaching degrees. And you know what? I'm open with mine saying that I don't believe it's the be all end all. But what I do have that I think is what actually has taught me a thing or two is that I've spent months worth of time with some of the best triathletes, coaches, and researchers in the world learning why they do what they do, why they do, how they do all of these things. The one thing that Connor talks about all the time is that I wrote the book that says 2 bike workouts a week is good. Well, I wrote that book for beginner triathletes, people that are just getting started. And I remember when I was that person and doing 2 bike workouts a week, that was a lot for me. That's who I'm trying to help out. And for the people who don't have a lot of time and are just getting into it and just want to know how to get started, 2 is more than enough. And that's a very different person than himself. He's an elite athlete. He's a very talented athlete. And he requires something different than somebody who's literally just getting off the couch. Now, I don't go and say that Ryan Bolton, who coaches Sam Long and Ben Hoffman, is an idiot because he prescribes 30, 35, 40-hour training weeks for them, and that's not what I prescribe. No, I'm empathetic enough to realize that that's what those athletes need, and my athletes need something different. And Dan Plews and Paul Larson and Matt Dixon from Purple Patch and Jesse Kropelnicki from QT2 and Jerry Rodriguez from Tower 26 and Aaron Carson at EC Fit in Boulder. Everyone has a different approach, but why do you just single me out? And why would you think that I would want to come and debate and defend my training methods? If I spent 2 years railing on Ryan Bolton for prescribing huge training volumes and then demanded that he defend himself to me, I wouldn't expect him to give me the time of day. And that's the thing, I don't even want to spend time on this because it is a stressful thing just hearing his name pop up because it's been 2 years nearly of straight harassment and a debate with somebody who is doing nothing but absolutely tearing you down and spreading lies. That's not a debate. That's not a casual conversation with slightly differing opinions. That's asking for a fight. And I'm not about fighting. I want to share work that we do where I research it as much as I possibly can. I consult with coaches and experts and trained people in each subject matter that we start talking about in our videos and that we create for our content and in our books and in our app to make sure that it's as good as we possibly can. And we work really hard to make sure that it's good. And you know what? Look at the Amazon reviews of our book. Talk to the athletes who have used our plan for 6, 9 months or a year. And they're gonna tell you that they do get good results because I design programs that are completely intended for those developing triathletes. But he's somebody that has zero empathy for other people that are athletes and might need something different than just slamming tons of elite level training onto new developing endurance athletes, and no empathy for realizing that there's a person with a wife who is scared of the reaction that's going to come from actually acknowledging that Connor exists. We're real people and not realizing that what you do is really hurtful. And here I am for 2 years just accepting that he's doing his thing and focusing on trying to put out as good quality content and products and information and things that can help people as I can, and not spreading lies and not falling into the spreading garbage in this industry. I want to pick people up, not beat people down. Now, he wants to also claim that he is this reasonable guy who I can talk to and I should have reached out at any one point. Well, you know what? I did actually reach out. And he came back to me saying, oh, you know what? I can't actually talk about this for about 6 weeks. Super, super busy. Well, if you're so big and such a risk to your business that you're potentially going to get shut down, wouldn't you make an hour at some point pretty soon? I was willing to make an hour for somebody that I have tried to ignore for 2 years. But it's important to me, so I was going to make the time. But to claim that you are this, very welcoming and open and reasonable person that's ready to talk. And then when I say, okay, let's talk, you go, oh, I can't do it for about 6 weeks because I'm so super busy. Again, it's just being disingenuous to your followers and to everyone out there to make it seem like you are this open and honest person when you're not. So you claim that it's unacceptable that we are trying to squish you and put you down and ruin your reputation. Well, who's the one that has been doing that for 2 years? You claim that we're unethical with our sponsorships. I only use things that I absolutely love. Literally absolutely love. And you know what? Here I am, just a guy that got kind of lucky, worked kind of hard to build a following in a sport that I love, that I feel can change people's lives all around the world for the rest of their life. And excuse me for trying to make a living in it. And the only thing that we do with making our content and making our products is we try to make something that is as good as possible out there. And I think that we've done that. Talk to the people who actually know us. Don't talk to somebody who I haven't talked to face in life. And the last conversation that I had with him was 2 years ago, at which point he threatened to start tearing me down if I didn't comply with what he was demanding. And I said, I'm not going to comply with that. And his answer was, fine, the people have spoken. And for the last 20 months, he has gone on a rampage trying to ruin my reputation. And I just wanted to do this one video to explain what is actually going on, and that if you are looking at this, wondering who I am, what kind of person I am, and doubting that what you see here is authentic, well, I don't really know what else to say. I've been really immensely hurt by this. It's overwhelming at times. It's really hard for 20 months to know that everything you post online can be turned into somebody tearing you apart, and that somebody that's tearing you apart is then encouraging other people to tear you apart, and then turn people who we get messages that said, I thought you were a good person and I'm really disappointed in you, because they read something that is a complete lie. In 2020 and 2021, we are sheltered and brought away from our community of triathletes that are supposed to support each other. And a lot of the past year, we can't even train with each other. We can barely talk to each other face to face. And the interaction that I get on social media comes with this little grenade that every couple of days I get somebody that's reaching out to me because they read some sort of lie. It's a lot. It's a lot. And if he wanted to hurt me, well, yeah, this hurts. But I'm not doing this video to ask for your sympathy or get you to retaliate. I don't want you to do that. I'm doing this because I think that we need to help each other get through this time right now in the world. I think that in triathlon, we need to build each other up. We need to give back to people by helping other people, by learning a little bit and then imparting what you learn to other people. And whether everyone agrees with it or not is irrelevant. If you're trying to help people, do a good thing and give back to the community. Everything that he's saying about me is a lie. It's a negatively spun version of what he sees online so that he can appeal to the people out there who don't like me. And the sad thing about this is that it's not going to stop. He's pathological. I know that there are people who have talked to him and said, you know, you really need to calm down on Taryn here. This is a bit too much, or you even might get into trouble for this. And he said, you're right, okay, you know what? And I'll stop. And then he just continues on. He literally can't stop himself from doing this. It's a compulsion. So this is going to be the only time that I say this. Whatever happens on his end and from his people from here on in, just know that this is the context that it comes from. It's a lot of lies. It's a lot of dishonesty from somebody that is just trying to get attention at other people's expense.